Let's model this pipe valve here. I provided the reference for you, so download it from the description. Bring it in, and once it's in, let's go S3 to scale it 3 times. Press G, and let's move this thing so that the 3D cursor is, let's go, I don't know, let's go around here. Try around there. We'll do the wheel part first. Press 3 to look from the side, pull this back a ways, press 1 to look from the front, and let's give this a try. Okay, now, so there's different ways to do this. Let's keep it simple. Let's bring in a circle. Let's make this 18 vertices. Go into edit mode. I'm just going to pull it up and scale it. And it's not quite on the diagram, so let's press this in GX, move it over a little bit, and select that. GX, just keep moving it until you think you pretty much got it. And we're not going to follow the diagram completely, but that's probably close enough. Okay, I'm going to take this down, and I'm going to extrude up like that. And I'm going to make it probably a little bit bigger. So I've got that, so I'm going to press E and Alt S, and I'm going to, now if it goes weird like that, okay, just go back, select it all, Alt N, recalculate outside. You may also want to try merge by distance. E and Alt S, and I'm going to pull in, and I'm just looking over here at the approximate width of this. You can make it any size you want, but I'm going to go with that to start. And then at edge selection number 2, I'm going to shift alt and click these edges. So I got all the 4 edges going around. And then it's just a question of how round do you want it to be. I'm going to do this, Control B, I'm going to pull. If I pull quite wide like that and just leave it, and then I go back in object mode and Control 2, let's say, and shade smooth, let's say, it'll be quite round. I don't want to do that exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Control B, pull. I'll still have a pretty wide space, but I'm going to roll my mouse up once, and then Control 2. I want it a little bit flatter, and I might even scale it in the Z just a little bit more. So I'm going to do something like that. Okay, 3D cursor still in the middle. We're going to make these pieces here. So Shift A, mesh plane, look from the top, edit mode, so I'm going to scale it down and pull it up to here. Select this edge, pull it forward, S to scale it down. Keeping in mind I'm going to have 3 of them, and I don't really want them to collide, but something like that is probably okay. I'm going to make sure that this is inside. Then look from the side. I'll go into wireframe, select it all, and I want this roughly in the middle. And then I want to select this front part there and look from the side again. And I want to pull it underneath a ways. Just decide how far down you want it. Doesn't really matter that much. Okay. I'm going to press E and Alt S. And maybe I'll push. Do something like that. Alright, I want to get rid of the front face. I'm going to select it and in object mode and slash key. And I'm going to get rid of that back face. And you know, it might not be thick enough. Probably is, but if I wanted to, I could switch to normal and just pull it up a little bit more. I'll just go back to global. Alright, at any rate, I want to select the edges. So that edge, this edge, and this edge. And I'm going to Control B to bevel, pull. I'm going to roll my mouse up and have a few segments in there. And then I shade smooth, okay, slash key. Now I'm probably going to have to apply a modifier on this, so I might as well do it before I copy it. So weighted normal and normal auto smooth, and it changed a little bit. Okay, my 3D cursor is still right there in the middle. I'm going to switch over to 3D cursor and go to edit mode and Shift D rotate Z 120. And Shift D rotate Z 120 again. So I've got those right there. Now I can take them and I can move them down if I need to, if they're not quite in the center. All right, so I'm going to make the central part. And then if I look at this, you can see that I'm off the diagram a little bit. Can I do anything about that, and do I care? Well, I could go into edit mode and wireframe and select just the ends. Press 1 to look from the front. I could pull them down a little bit more, and I'd have that. And maybe it's a little bit closer to the diagram. All right. Okay, so Shift A, mesh, circle. We could go for 18 again. I'll scale it down, and I'm going to get this middle piece here. So let's see what we can do about that. Sort of like that. I'm going to have it, let's see, it is around there, actually. I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to come down. I'll come down to there, and then I'll extrude again, and that'll give me an edge loop right there in the middle. Press 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click there. And if I want, I want to move the background, GX a little bit. Okay, maybe that'll help us. Okay, back. Let's grab that and Control B to pull, roll back to 0, so I just have the top and the bottom edge. E and Alt S and pull, I guess, like that. I'm going to drag an edge loop up near the top, near the bottom. We'll put a subdivision surface on this in just a moment. The bottom is open, the top is open too, so we better close that. So let's Shift Alt and click that edge, and F to make a face. Now we're going to bevel this. I'm not looking at the diagram, I'm just going to do 2, and we're going to do Control 1 or Control 2 if you prefer. And we'll have that piece. Let's see how it looks. All right away, let's make this look a little bit better and more enjoyable to model with. Put on the cavity shader, turn over here on both, slide these values up, and go to matte cap and choose this one here, Studio Lights. Select everything and Alt N, recalculate outside. Yep, something was flipped. I guess my wheel was flipped. So now we have that, and it's starting to look nice already. Okay, we're going to do the top bolt stuff here. So we've got a washer, we've got a bolt, and we've got that part. It's probably part of the same thing, but whatever. So grab that, Shift D to duplicate it, pull it up, S to scale it a bit, P to break it out, and we got that. It's got a subdivision surface on it, but that's okay. Extrude down and X that face. Select the top. Yeah, it is discolored, it's flipped. Control B, put a little bit in there. We can shade smooth, go in and Alt N, recalculate outside. Let's scale that in the Z, make it a bit flatter. Push that in a little bit. I don't mind if it pokes up a bit. For the hexagonal bolt, bring in a circle, change it to 6 vertices, and scale it. Bring it up, scale it down. F to make a face, E to extrude, pull down. It needs to be flipped as well, like that. In edge selection, Control B, pull, roll back to 0, so you get just 2 edges, and slide it up 1. Do something like that, and shade smooth, and we'll have to put on that weighted normal and auto smooth. So we have that, and yeah, it's not going to be exactly the same, doesn't matter. And now we need that cylinder in the middle, so just grab this again and take this face, Shift D, duplicate it, scale it down. Oh, I'm on 3D cursor, median point. Scale it down, extrude down, get rid of the bottom. It's flipped. We can flip the whole everything. Select this piece, Control L to get what's linked. Push it in a little bit. Take the top and Control B and have just like a couple of segments in there. And we have that. All right, that looks all right for what we want to do. Okay, and here we are. So this thing is all one piece, comes up to there, and it goes down to there. And actually I built this off of this, so we're going to build that now. So the way I'm going to do that is I'll leave my 3D cursor there, that's fine. Shift A, mesh, circle. I'm going to go for 8 vertices. So look from the top, go into edit mode. We can do wireframe so we can see it. I'm going to scale it down actually, maybe about half the size of the wheel for the moment. And then we'll look at that. Now we're going to rotate this. We're going to go RZ 22.5. So it's flat on the top and on the sides. Let's look over here. Let's pull it down to around here. This is where we're going to build it from. I'll scale it in a little bit more. Okay, now this is the piece that we want right here. So I'm going to, in edge selection, select this edge and this edge. Press 1 to look from the side. Actually, I think I'm going to bring this in narrower to about there. So I'm going to extrude out to do the sides like that. So let's do that again. Select those edges, look from the front. E and SX and pull out. I know you can't really see it, so I'm going to pull down. Now we can sort of see it, what it's doing there. Okay, I can scale the whole thing a bit bigger if I want to, and grab these edges and just look at that. I know you can't see that very well, but that's probably okay like that anyhow. All right, now let's press E to extrude, come down a little ways, and they're still selected, so I'm going to use that and make a mirror at that point. So Shift S, cursor to selected, bring my 3D cursor right there. I'll go back into object mode and solid for now. I'm going to switch over here and choose mirror in the Z, and I'll put clipping on and make sure I set the origin to the 3D cursor. Now I can look at this and I can decide if I maybe need to make it a bit bigger and then move it down. That's pretty good. All right. Okay, let's go back in. Shift Alt and click the edge and go all the way around. Make sure we have the whole thing like that. And we're gonna close it off a little bit. I can't really tell how much, so just do your thing. Just do something like that. All right. Now select it all, Alt N, recalculate outside, because some of the polys were flipped. Okay, so far so good. Select it all, E and Alt S, and I'm gonna come out. I'm not looking at the diagram, so let's see if I come in, will it make any difference? No. All right, we'll go out. Alt S. Let's give it some thickness. Like that, we can scale this down. All right, so we have that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to take in face selection, Shift Alt and click the top, and that's going to move the bottom as well. So I'm going to extrude up like this. Extrude up to there. That'll make it come down as well. Let's try that. And let's go ahead and apply the mirror. If we want to, we can get rid of these edges. Dissolve edges. We're not going to need them. I'll see what it looks like with the subdivision surface on. So we need to put some edge loops in here. So we're going to put one here, coming out and coming in. Same thing on the other side. Coming out and coming in. We need at the elbows here, or shoulders, or whatever you want to call it. And I could have kept the mirror on for this and done them the same. It really doesn't matter that much. And coming up and going down. That's looking good. Let's do an edge loop up here. I just don't want to pinch this too much, so I don't really want an edge loop coming down too much. You know, you'll start getting it sharper and sharper, so I'm just possibly going to leave that. And we'll do this, and we're going to come to the inside. We're going to drag an edge loop in here, and we're going to drag an edge loop in here. And that's probably what I'm looking for. I might take the whole thing and scale it down just a little bit like that, and then I can always pull this up if I want to, and I probably want to. So I'm going to come up to here, and then let's see. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to drop an edge loop right in the middle there, and then hit 3 for face selection and Shift Alt and click there. So I got those faces. And now I'm going to come up, and I'm pretty close. All right, edge loop down, edge loop up, edge loop in here, and we'll throw an edge loop in here. That'll tighten that up to grab there. I'm liking that. Let's not worry about the bottom right now. Let's think about this thing here. So to do that, this is, let's see, I got enough vertices there for sure. So let's grab a circle, Shift D. Let's pull it down. Let's pull it right down to there actually. All right. And let's put it to the narrower region. So S to scale. Let's break it out because we copied it from this one. And then let's extrude it up into there, somewhere in there. I'm not going to see in there. And let's extrude it down. I'm not going to see in there. But it looks kind of shadowy. So I think it's flipped. Well, to prove it, let's go here. So you get used to seeing that. So do that. Shade smooth. And then just put some thread on this. Decide if you like the thickness. If you want it a bit thicker, you can just scale it. And I'm going to roll my mouse up a bunch of times. Like that. And that's fine. Okay. Actually, I'm probably going to make it smaller now that I think about it, because I'm going to put the thread that's going to push out. Make the thread as big as you want. I'm not looking at the diagram. E and Alt S and push. I'm going to select the whole thing and scale Shift Z so it doesn't scale in the Z. Just do something like that. Okay. All right. Good. So nice and easy stuff. All right. And for the bottom part, what we're going to do is we'll come back in and wireframe, and I'll box select the bottom, and I'll just pull it down a bit. And let me have a little think about this. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put an edge loop right in the middle, Shift Alt and click that part there, and then I'm going to E to extrude. I'm going to come down a bit and start scaling it out. And I think I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to come out to there and scale it out. And again, it might be a little bit off the diagram. And then I'm going to hit E and S and come out just straight. So we'll have a flat region. And you'll see what I mean in a second. It'll slope down, then it'll come out flat. E to extrude, come down here. And we'll leave it at that. Let's just put our edge loops in. So let's bring one up here, down to there, another one to there. That'll accentuate that sharp spot. Out, up, down, and underneath we'll do another one coming out to sharpen that. So we'll get that. Now it's not high poly because I think I started with 12 vertices or something. And that is basically it, other than attaching it to a pipe and putting some bolts. And what I could do at this point is I could actually hide that. And I'm going to take the whole thing, and we'll be off the diagram now. I'm just going to move it up above the X so that the ground plane's kind of not in the way of it. It's a good idea to always check. Yeah, it's good. Okay. And then what I might do is take maybe this and Shift D, pull it out, and I might scale that in the Z, scale it smaller, pull it down here, and just drag it, and then I'm going to scale it to the size that would fit. But I might scale in the Z, make it more prominent. Press the period key to zoom in. Nice big bolt there. Something like that. Okay, so it's two pieces, right? And if I Control J this, it'll all have the subdivision on it, but that's actually fine with me. And it makes it a little bit easier to work with. My 3D cursor is right there. I'm going to shift to 3D cursor. The pivot's there. Shift D, rotate Z 180. Take sorry, both of those. Let's join those. Just Control J. It's just a little bit easier. I'm going to edit mode actually. Shift D, rotate Z 90. Shift D rotate Z 45 and Shift D rotate Z 90, I believe, and I have them all together. And let's see how well they look, like how centered they are. That's probably all right. And if I really needed to, I mean, I could come in here. I'll shut off that for a moment, and I could take these like that. Maybe I could scale, not that, scale Shift Z a little bit if I really needed to give more room for my bolts. And I will double check again. Everybody's good. Shut that off, and I have my valve, if that's what you call this thing. I'll try it with this one. There's other parts that could be added to this, of course, but you know, to keep it relatively simple, and keeping in mind as well, you know, I'm at 20,000, which is really not that bad. You know, if I'm not going to have too many of these, depending on what kind of scene you're doing. All right, so that's it for that. We'll probably do some more pipe stuff where I'll put it all together in a little mini pipe scene. Then, you know, I've got the clamp, and I've got the valve, and I've got the various junctions, and I've got this, and we'll see. Okay, so hopefully that's useful to somebody out there. Thanks for watching.